Hello, how are you? I'm Matthew, host of Truth from the Booth. Thanks for allowing me to share space with you today. This show marks a difficult anniversary. 1 year since Bobby died while living in a tent in the cold of December in Kentville, Nova Scotia. His story is personal, painful, and far too familiar for families across this province. In the studio with me today, Michelle Hiltz, Bobby's sister, who has spent the last 12 months trying to understand who her brother was in those final months, and who he still is to her now. As she looks back, certain memories rise to the surface, the parts of his spirit she misses, the unexpected moments when she still feels connected to him, and the questions that have shaped her grief. We'll talk about what helped her make sense of his life as he was living, how his loss has changed the way she thinks about safety, shelter, and dignity, and what she wishes people understood about him beyond the circumstances of his death. And as she carries him forward, in decisions, in conversations, in quiet moments, we'll explore what healing looks like when it isn't a finish line, but a process. This is a conversation about love, loss, and the human lives behind the numbers. My uninterrupted conversation with Michelle Hiltz is on the backside of this, on Truth from the Booth.
I am the breath that fogs your windows and steals the warmth from your fingertips. I've walked this earth longer than your oldest stories, dragging my cloak of frost behind me. I don't come to be cruel. I come because it's my nature. I sculpt the world in white, sharpen the nights, test the strength of every roof, every spirit. I am the creak in the trees at midnight, the wind that prowls alleyways, the cold that settles into bones people wish I'd leave alone. Some greet me with fires and thick quilts, but others face me with nothing but thin canvas, layered clothes, and courage I never meant to challenge. I am not heartless, just ancient. I arrive because the seasons demand it, but even I can feel the weight of those who suffer under my watch. When I howl through the streets, I know not everyone has a place to hide. I am winter, relentless, yes, but never unaware.
Halifax, Nova Scotia, home of talk radio, Truth from the Booth, an ongoing awareness campaign keeping Canada's housing crisis on the front burner and in the moment right here in the Halifax Regional Municipality, the Maritimes, and beyond. True, real-life stories told by those living it, existing in the streets. They bear all and provide you a brief glimpse into an unimaginable world of misery and disappointment, resilience, and triumph. Hear from those with boots on the ground advocating for change now. The stories of the unhoused need to be told by them to educate you, all of us. Hear all the conversations Sundays at 10 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. here on folkedupradio.com. Now, back to today's fantastic guest. As you know, I like to start off all of my shows by just asking you on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your mental health on this early part of December 2025?
About 9.
A much different number than the last time that we spoke.
Yeah, different number.
So when you look back over the last year, what has happened? What conversations have you had that has allowed that number to bounce all the way back up to a 9?
I think it's time passing with Bobby, losing Bobby. Over time, accepting it just got a little bit easier. I let go of anger, some counseling. It was when it first happened, everything was just so fresh, and then a year has gone by already, and I just didn't think I would be where I am, and Christmas this year has got me high spirits.
Excited for Christmas, yes. I just want to quickly go back to the grief, because I know before recording this conversation, we spoke for
an hour. And Jen was a part of that conversation. And I know that Jen was helping you with some grief. What were some of the exercises that they advised you to do early on? And how did that help you?
Oh, to write on a rock and my emotions, and just take a big rock that was heavy to carry and write how I felt when I was getting overwhelmed with sadness or grief or thinking about Bobby, or the guilt. A lot of guilt came with Bobby. The rock helped a lot. I probably did that for 3 weeks to a month, and there was never any worry about paper or straight where the words went. It just, when the emotions hit, I just wrote on a rock. And then when I was ready to let go of the rock, I took it to the ocean and I threw it in. And then I got another rock that was smaller and lighter to carry, and that I keep, and it reminds me of what I accomplished with the letting go of some of the guilt and grief on the first rock. So that helped a lot. And talking to someone outside the circle helps a lot. When you have someone from the outside that's not looking in, it helped. It's wild, but a stranger helped a lot. And another exercise was writing a letter to Bobby, and what I would say to him, and maybe how I would rewrite the story in a different ways. So I kind of started doing that. That hasn't finished yet, but when I get done with that, I'm supposed to burn that and do a little ritual to let it go. And another one that I've been doing is when I get grief or the guilt, because it's past trauma that's coming up from that the grief is bringing up. So whatever memory is coming up from the past, I write on a piece of paper and put it into a box or whatever I want that I feel it's safe. And when I get to the ocean, I take out one of those pieces of paper and I do a goodbye ritual for it. And I haven't gotten one of the papers out yet, but I got a lot wrote on. So those kinds of therapy has helped a lot. And I listen to people's podcasts with their own experiences and stuff, and I feel like that really helps a lot, because I can listen to a lot and take it in more than I can if I'm always watching or talking.
So one part of the exercise is writing stuff down on paper, but you're saying that you haven't got to the point where you still have a bunch of those in your possession. So what's holding you from going to that next step and just burning those or getting rid of those?
Well, finding the time to go to a quiet place has just been really busy with Christmas and stuff, and my head's just go, and I feel like I'm going to take a few of them, and I feel like I need to have that total quiet time, and I need it to be a special beach. Because there's so many beaches that I go to, and at the same time, I'm going to release a little bit of Bobby's ashes, and I'm going to release a little bit of my friend Lil that I lost, her ashes at the same time. So I'm just looking for the spot to do it. I don't know which beach to pick. So that's...
Well, there are lots of beautiful beaches in Nova Scotia for sure.
Because it's like a mindset thing, because when you get ready to let go, I'm going to be ready to let go. So maybe just that small part of me isn't ready, but I'm feeling I just need to find that perfect spot where I don't need to worry about anybody being around, because I feel it's not going to be something that's going to happen in 5 minutes.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so, but I feel I'm ready, and I don't want it to be cold. I might sound like a sookie baby, but...
So this is, you don't want to be cold, so this is something that probably won't happen at this year, not unless we get a warm day, because I'll tell you, Liverpool has some nice days, and I'm thinking it's probably the beach where Lil and I went to, and our special rock, but I just want to make sure, because that's going to be a big step for me, to release all that, and I'm really looking forward to it, because it's a big weight lifted off your shoulder when you actually sit down and writing things out and see, wow, Well, speaking of writing things down, different things that might trigger
a memory of your brother. Here we are coming up on a 1 year anniversary of the tragic death of your brother. What types of moments or memories are in your headspace right now as we approach this 1 year?
Still, downtown Kentville is a big trigger for me. So, where I'm at with the grief with Bobby, I haven't gotten to any good childhood memories or anything. I'm still at the point where I see what he went through.
So your memories are at the tail end, not so much.
At the tail end,
okay.
Still at the tail end. And I have days where just triggers and I'll burst out crying, but it's not where it was last year, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. Yes.
Yeah, so, but that's where I'm at, and I'm hoping with time and this release thing that I'm going to do that I'll start to get that good memories of Bobby instead of his sad story. But it's hard to get past such a sad story because it was watched and unfolded right in front of my eyes. So, yeah. Okay. I try to avoid going to Kentville. However, I've walked the marsh where he passed away. I can do that without crying. And I actually, the first day I went down with my it would have been the third time I went down with my grandchildren, my granddaughters. A cardinal flew out right in front of us just before the spot where Bobby's tent was.
And you're a big, you love cardinals.
I love cardinals. Yes. So okay. I'm just like, I felt that was a sign from Bobby for me to just, because it's beautiful at the marsh. And the kids have gone there since they were young. And it's a big turning point for me to be able to go down to the marsh. And I felt kind of a little peace with the cardinal.
Do you think that you will ever get a proper understanding of where Bobby was in his own headspace in those final weeks?
I kind of think I have a little idea, maybe, because I faced an eviction notice from my landlord. I won. But just thinking about losing my home, even though I had multiple people step up that were going to offer me their home, a coach, just the thought of losing my place put my head in a tailspin. I think about Bobby's head all the time, and I can't imagine how he did it, but he did it. And he always tried to remain positive, and he always had a smile on his face. But I think about his head, his mental illness, his fibromyalgia, his rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm like, he was suffering. And it wasn't fair. And that's, I can't imagine. And I feel like he's at peace. But I feel like nobody should ever be in that situation either. So how can you not suffer?
In this moment right now, Michelle, having a conversation with an individual who lost their only brother, like,
brutal.
It's just in this moment, it's just hit me like a ton of bricks.
And it's Christmas, and I don't have mom, and there was only the three of us, and it's rough. But I'm turning Christmas around and doing it for the grandkids, and I feel like Bobby would want it to go that way, but I still feel like it was unfair, and if he had to have a chance just to get out of the cold, he could have just 5 more months and I would have had my daughter out of my place, and he could have moved with me, and that will never leave my 5 months. It's the only one time that I couldn't help him, and he died. And I don't know when that will ever leave my head, but I'm starting to go away from guilt a little bit because I tried the best I could with what I had. But I'll tell you, I just think and I look and I see him walking everywhere. I see his head down, and I watched his weight loss. I watched his mental health go deteriorate. I watched how he got treated, and I was helpless. And that's the worst feeling in the world, to do to your sibling. And if I could do things differently, I might have taken a chance and threw him in on the floor. But you can't keep going back to the what ifs. And
Yes, yeah. Here we are, this month, special month for a lot of people, Christmas, families are home. What are there certain parts of his personality that you miss, but was this time of year as special to Bobby as it is to you, with family and just celebration?
It was. It's after we lost our mom 10 years ago, it took a lot out of Bobby and his mental health, the bipolar, and he always felt guilty because he said he felt like he didn't look after mom the way I did, and that I was always stronger because his bipolar and stuff, and he lived with a lot of guilt on that, and I tried to help him, but we strained a lot. So we missed out on Christmases in the last 7 years because of that, losing mom. But I'll tell you, Christmases were everything to our family, and mom would love the big meal I cooked, and we loved getting up. We were always up at 4 or 5 in the morning. Get back to bed. You can't get up yet. And we always got to pick out one big gift, and I miss him. And Bobby's birthday is December 12th, and mine's November 24th, and we were just a year apart. So it's from birthdays to Christmas, and it's hard, but I'm pulling it off because of my grandkids. But it's rough. It's rough.
Bobby would have turned 53.
Yeah, he would have turned 53.
He would have turned 53. Okay. Looking back on this year, can you tell me and the audience, was there any particular time this year where you felt especially connected? Through some event, especially connected through Bobby, maybe a geographical location that you were at?
I feel like Bobby comes to me through birds, cardinals, and crows. We both loved crows. Like, I have so many feathers, it's crazy, different feathers. He was spiritual with the dimes and times, like the numbers, angel numbers and stuff. I look at angel numbers and I'm just like, okay, what are you trying to tell me today? Or something funny will happen, or I'll do something funny and I can hear him laughing and doing this little grin that he had. And his best friend was up this morning and he was like, he's been having a rough go because he found him, but he was up this morning and he said, you know what, I gotta tell you, I think today's a good day. And I said, well, why? He said, well, I don't know. He said, the heat pump started talking to me at 4 o'clock this morning, and it's not voice activated yet. And all I could see was Bobby standing there laughing at me. He said with that grin, and I said, oh no, Dean, he's going to come through the heat pump, because they just got heat pumps last week.
He's going to come through the heat pump.
He's been messing with it. Well, I believe in my spirits, but his radio will mess up. Okay. So this morning I was like, uh-oh, Dean, you're in trouble now. He's figured out the heat pump. So I'm very spiritual. If I didn't have my signs to believe in, I don't think I would be where I am. I believe that there's something out there, and it seems to be when I'm down, and I can feel them. You guys smarten up.
We've talked about this several times and in previous shows, and off the mic, we have both shared our views on shelters. But I'm just wondering how Bobby's loss, has it in any way shaped the way you now think about the safety, the shelter, the dignity of people who are not just in Kentville, but in any given community in Nova Scotia? What are your thoughts on the sheltering system here?
I don't agree with shelters. I mean, I get that they're there, but the one that Bobby stayed in, you're not allowed to go out and smoke cigarettes. If you go out before your time, you have to stay out all night. I didn't realize these rules until I talked to somebody that was in a shelter. And the dignity, well, where do you have dignity when you're not even allowed to smoke a cigarette? And Bobby got kicked out because he got charged with something that he never even had a chance to prove, and supposedly causing a ruckus. What he was doing was getting up at 5 a.m. and sweeping the church floor because he wasn't allowed to go out and have a cigarette. So his head would have to be something to keep him busy. Shelters are just a Band-Aid, and they're just a waste of time. They need to build.
Absolutely. But you don't believe, well, I don't believe that people are getting the proper, they're not being looked after in a shelter the same way they would be looked after in, like, say, a tiny home community. They're just run differently.
Yes, especially up in Kentville, because the one shelter, not Open Arms, but the other shelter, In From the Cold, is run by volunteers. So you don't have anybody that's paid, and you don't have people that have the knowledge or the know-how to deal with some of those people. So I feel bad, too, for the volunteers that are trying to help, because they're doing it from their heart. Obviously, they're doing it from their heart, or they wouldn't be doing it. But it's not fair to expect volunteers to have to deal with what you're dealing with. But it's also not fair that people are out on the street, because nobody's going to be normal. And I stand firm on that nobody is going to be normal. So when you're taking on these roles to help people, then you need to really investigate as to what needs to be done before you open up shelters like the one in Kentville that can throw somebody back out, because that would tailspin you. I can't imagine what Bobby went through at every door that got closed at him. I just can't. It's hopeless. And, you know, he had this bracelet on, and I always will remember it. Stay focused to be positive. How does someone do that out on the streets?
Well, you
can't. And he did it. Tried. And he got wore out. He never even made it through one winter.
Yeah. Well, I experimented with being unhoused for 108 days. And although it was brief 2 winters ago at Grand Parade Square, it was eye-opening. It changed me. I mean, I had to go speak with social workers and psychiatrists. And that's only after 3 months. So you can imagine the people that, you know, I know people, you know people, that are getting ready for their 3rd straight winter outside. So going back to what we had talked about before even having this recorded conversation, we just need to start building.
We do.
And we have to stop shuffling people around from shelters to encampments to tiny homes to pallet shelters to shelters. People just need safe, dignified living spaces, and we're so far behind on that. It's dangerous. We're in crisis mode. We have been for years, for decades. We've been in crisis mode.
Yes, we have. So it's scary.
If on this 1-year anniversary of Bobby's passing, your only brother, and I know that you communicate with him a lot. For my audience, they might be curious as to what you might say to your brother today, if you had the opportunity to do so.
I'm sorry. I doubted him along this route that he was on, this road. I have more of an understanding. I should have been more understanding. I would lose my patience the last couple of weeks, but as time goes on, I realize when you're helpless to help somebody and you're pretty much watching them die, there's no feelings to describe except helpless. And just hugged them. Just take him for longer drives in the car, maybe to keep him warmer, but can't go back.
I don't know if there are a lot of people that truly understand the true meaning of what it feels like to be hopeless, because I can see it. I'm so sad for you, Michelle, right now.
Yeah, it's not hopeless. Is not. So I guess I understood what Bobby felt like, because what do you do when you have nothing?
What do you wish people knew? about Bobby? Like, what if someone was Michelle? Like, how do I understand? Like, what was he all about?
Bobby had a heart of gold. He would help anybody out. He polite. He loved the ladies. He was a nice looking. He just loved the ladies. He always could flirt. He'd get, oh my gosh, just get these reactions and get smiles out of everybody. And he was always nice. Hold the door open for women and giving. And he liked his time alone. Like, he didn't hang out with a lot of people. He had his own place before his landlord got greedy. But Bobby, he had a zest for life. He was awesome. Would never be anybody like him. Never.
How do you carry him with you in conversations and things that you do in your life now? How is he always with you? How do you keep him with you?
In my heart, in my mind, my memories. I was carrying a picture of him around everywhere I went to sleep, but I actually carry 3 pictures in my wallet. So I got pictures and then his memories and stuff. I was carrying his ashes, but that kind of slowed down, and I keep his ashes home now. But yeah, just a lot of memories, and I have his picture close. And my feathers. I have a couple feathers in the car and all.
Just one final thing, because this really, you came to the apartment at 11 o'clock, and it's been quite a talkative, emotional couple of hours, even though we've only captured the last 30 minutes of it. But what does, as we settle in on this 1-year anniversary, your life, your life continues. What does the healing process look like for you moving ahead?
The healing process it's looking a little bit more positive than it was a year ago. It's moving forward. The guilt's easing off a little bit, and I have bad grief days, but I got good people in my life, and moving forward, I'm realizing that grief is always going to be with me. And I'll tell you, if I didn't grieve my brother, I wouldn't have loved him. And I never...
That's a really truthful statement.
Very true. And I remind myself of that a lot, especially on bad days, and that guilt and that hopeless thoughts come up about what I could have did. I'm like, if I didn't cry and I didn't grieve him this much, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to love him as much as I did. Mm. And that's a part of grief, and I've accepted that. And he wouldn't want me to be feeling like this. And I've had people put in my pathway to remind me of this, so throughout the last year.
Mm-hmm. Let's end it on this. If you would like to, I know we're into the Christmas season. You have said that you've already spent quite a bit of time having fun decorating your place. What's the Christmas holidays look like for you with family? We'll end it with that.
Christmas holidays look awesome. My grandkid's dad's coming home from Ontario. Going to be staying 10 days at my place, so I put all my heart and spirit into Christmas so that we all can enjoy it, and plan on doing bacon and just seeing everybody together. It's better than last year when I was running away. Yeah. What
just a complete 180 from last year.
Way out, yeah.
I'm so glad that you made the trek from the other side of the province to the Halifax Regional Municipality. It's always nice to do these in person, for sure.
Yeah.
Probably one of the more... I've had some emotional conversations before, but this is right up there with some of the most meaningful conversations that I've had, so I thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
As we bring this conversation to a close, I want to thank Michelle for their strength, honesty, and willingness to bring us into a story that is still unfolding in her heart. Grief doesn't follow a straight line, and today we were reminded that love, even in loss, keep shaping us long after someone is gone. Bobby's life and the questions his death leaves behind continue to echo across this community. And those echoes matter. They remind us that every person living without shelter is someone's family, someone's story, someone who deserved safety and dignity. Next week, we'll continue this dialogue from a different angle. We'll sit down with someone currently living unhoused to hear directly in their own words what daily survival looks like, what hope looks like, and what they want the rest of us to know. Their perspective is raw, real, and essential. I'm Matthew. Thanks for sharing space with me and Michelle today on Truth from the Booth. Now back to the music on 99.9 FM Perth Andover and folkedupradio.com.